great games that can be challenging are ones where your frustration level is like just underneath your desire to play. So that you keep moving forward. There are, however, these things where the games where your frustration level increases above your desirability to play, and it's at that point that you're likely to just throw it away and just stop. We had a future topic suggestion from our graphic designer.
Our brand director, if you will.
Sorry. Brand director.
And
graphic designer.
Person who makes all these great thumbnails. Also the one that came out on the day of recording. Fantastic.
Terrific. I hope you really enjoy them. That's kind of like one of the big comments we usually get, is that our covers are terrific. Because they are.
They are fantastic.
That's right. If only we put as much work into the content as the covers suggest. But anyway, so Crave had given us a topic that actually I really do want to talk about, which was a clip from the Librarian, and it was about Rain World, and basically the Librarian was talking about games being punishing, and not having a lot of save locations so that you have to go over and over them time and time again. And the whole quote is basically, "Not my job as a player to persevere, it's your job as a game to make me want to play you." And I feel like we've kind of talked about this a little bit with Souls-likes in some way, but it is something that I have encountered once or twice. Not in Rain World, because I haven't played Rain World. But there was a game just this last year that this instantly reminded me of, which was also a Metroidvania title called 9 Years of Shadows. It's one of those games where instantly, when you start getting into it, you think that this is a really great concept. Visually stunning, very, very interesting, with this like black and white world that then turns into color as you're going through it. But then it reaches this problem, which is that it's not interconnected enough to be able to loop back to certain save points. And so it will give you one, but then it will ask you to go through a vast number of, parts, and usually a boss, and sometimes a sub-boss after the boss, before you'll ever get back to a save point. And if at any point you die, it resets to the progress that you had at the save point last time you saved. The reason why this eventually became a problem for me was mostly because I realized that what that meant is that the game was going to insist I then do the boss battles and the mini-boss battles over again when I died. They set up a way where basically I can't backtrack. So you go down a cliff that's too far down and that you can't get back up until you have the special ability. So normally, if I realized that this was happening, where I had mini bosses and big bosses and stuff like that, but there were other challenges past this, and I could die, and I'd have to do it all over again. My normal thought process at that point would be, okay, well, I'll take care of this one thing, and then I guess I'll backtrack and save my progress, and then come back. But it didn't let me do that. Eventually, I got frustrated with it, and I'd be like, please, can I have a save point, a save chamber, somewhere around here? Because it's just exorbitant. They'd set up a save point, and then they'd have me go through a series of places to get a new ability, and then have me use that ability for a bunch of challenges before I could save, after I had just got the new ability. And it just felt so difficult to actually get from this point to this point, and I'm so used to Metroids where usually there'll be a way to save right after big moments. Big moments like that. And so not having that really makes you appreciate how important it is to have good amounts of save points that are easily, accessible. And it's really a shame, because if it weren't for that major problem, I probably would have had it a lot higher on my best to worst list, and that was really one of the big issues for it. I have not played Rain World. I am familiar with the idea of a slug cat, and I am familiar with what people like about it, and that it can be very punishing.
I have an issue, and not even with save points like this. I don't typically play Metroidvanias or games that have
Sure.
a lot of, like, I do occasionally play JRPGs, but a lot of the newer ones just kind of let you save in places. But it's been a while since I played one. But I have this issue similarly, where it is not my job, to want to play the game. The game has to make me want to play it. And if the game stops making me want to play the game, I'm going to stop playing the game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It can be punishing, that's fine. It's this is the reason I don't get on with Souls likes a lot of times. It's just that punishing nature turns me off of it. Like, it's not because I don't like the get good mentality, obviously. I don't care, honestly.
Yeah.
I want the game to be engaging and fun enough that even if I've got something that is a hindrance to me, I think the game is fun enough to continue pushing forward.
Yeah.
I don't want to persevere when I'm not having fun.
Exactly. One of the early examples I can remember of this was not in any of the genres that we were talking about previously, but it was actually Splinter Cell, the original Splinter Cell.
The old one, PS1?
Yeah, well, for me it was Xbox, but...
whatever.
But the thing about it is that in the original 2 games for the Splinter Cell series, they did not have the ability to save on demand, where you could, put a save down whenever you wanted to. They had save points, they had checkpoints. And the place where you started to really feel it was level... I want to say it was 5 or 6, but it was the Chinese embassy. And I remember it so vividly because of this very, very real problem that they set up this mission that basically says that no one can detect you. You can't kill anybody. You can't, like, even knock people out. Nobody can know that you're there. You have to make no trace that you were there. And there is a part with that criteria where you have to go through this huge chunk of a big open area in the middle of the embassy, going up and down hallways with a bunch of different characters, and at any point you basically insta-fail if people see you.
Yeah, and sections of games like that are really tough.
Yeah.
Because one little mess up and you've got to start the whole thing over again.
Didn't really hit a checkpoint until you literally would be able to see a thermal camera, wait for a guard to come by, hit a keypad, and then go in when they're not looking, and then enter in the keypad to get to one of the guarded rooms. And then you hit a checkpoint at that point, after you've gone through the main hall and pretty much all of the embassy. And it was at that point where, after a few tries with that, I was like, oh god, what is this? I hate this so much. Yeah. This is bad.
And I get it, because people who can do that and then get through it are like, oh, I feel really accomplished.
Oh, I was real happy when I got it done.
Right, but
real happy, but...
I feel like at that point, though, it's how do you want people to actually get past this or not? Because there are plenty of people who are going to quit right then and there. That's something, for instance, Josh Strife Hayes, when he does his worst MMO videos, he talks about quit moments, which are moments in games that people will quit at. Like, all of these little things here that are not accessible or hard or frustrating or not explainable are all quit moments. And, every single one of those adds up to making someone not want to play your game.
Yeah, it's the chuck the controller moment. It's like... Throw it away, don't want to do this anymore, sorry. Great games that can be challenging are ones where your frustration level is just underneath your desire to play. so that you keep moving forward. There are, however, these things where the games where your frustration level increases above your desirability to play, and it's at that point that you're likely to just throw it away and just stop.
Is this a teachable, learnable moment, or is this just a frustration with no benefit?
Right. Occasionally, to play devil's advocate, sometimes I do wonder if we're spoiled these days because of it, because I remember the old school days when, like, saving your games or, like, losing progress was, like, a common experience. But I've kind of come to the conclusion that, no, we just never liked it. I don't think we ever really appreciated the idea of losing progress on a regular basis, and we're glad we don't have to do it now.
Yeah.
Because it was annoying, and it was a really easy way to lose patience with games being the way that they were. When you had, like, X number of lives or something like that, those old mechanics, those were frustrating experiences. And looking back on it now, I probably wouldn't play them that way, and only played them then because there really weren't a lot of options at the time.
No, now there's too many options.
That's true. You have so many options at your disposal. Hey, I remember back when you would get the GameCube, and I didn't have a memory stick, because you had to have the removable memory stick. So if I was playing the games before I got the memory stick, I basically just had to accept that whatever I was going to achieve in this game is going to be lost to the ages the second I turn it off. It just ain't coming back.
This is something Second Wind had talked about recently, was saves.
Yes.
Which was interesting.
Yeah. It's a good topic, and how they do saves in different games are really interesting. Sometimes they'll be limited, sometimes you'll only have so many files. In the case of Kingdom Come Deliverance, you literally had to have a, like, potion of remembrance or whatever it was, that you would have to drink, and that would allow you to save your game on the save file. And if you didn't have it, you couldn't save. I didn't like that mechanic, just for the record. I thought that was stupid, but okay.
For, like, Elite Dangerous, for instance, a game that I have about 800 hours in now, you only get one save slot.
Sure.
It's not even a save slot. It is you get your character, your profile, and that is the save. You cannot save extra times. It is kind of like an MMO, but it's one character, kind of. It's just your progression.
Yeah.
I wiped that save once because you can clear it.
Yeah.
And reset to the original. Years ago, I think I had probably 200 something hours in at that point, and I just went, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I went, I want to start over. So I wiped the whole save and started new.
Yeah.
I still don't know what I'm doing, by the way.
Oh, good. Well, don't worry. Another 800 hours, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Great.
That's a different open world gaming problem, however.
Yes. I've seen plenty of games, and I've played plenty of games that basically just have the autosave feature so that you always have just one save. And I think that that's fine. The only thing that I get a little trepidatious about is that I do worry about the save files becoming corrupt, which is why I like to have backups. And,
yes. Again, Second Wind talked about this really recently, like a couple weeks ago.
Funny.
Where they had said, I think Marty was saying that he wants to be able to have 1,000 saves, like unlimited saves. Just give me as many as I can have.
Right.
I'll take them.
Right.
Because, like, autosave's great, but I want to back it up myself.
Right. In a case like a Baldur's Gate 3, they let you do, I think that they have autosaves, but then you can also do hard saves. And I would even be fine if a game decides that there aren't autosaves, but you have to do hard saves, and you have to choose that, because it would keep people on the ball of saying, oh, right, I need to save. Because, again, I think sometimes we do get used to the fact that we just accept that an autosave is going to happen. And I've definitely gotten into that, where it's like, oh yeah, it's obviously gonna autosave, and I die, and I'm like, oh, where are they gonna bring me back from? And it's like, no, you hard save in this game. And I'll be like, damn it, I gotta be careful.
Yeah, I always end up saving twice whenever I save.
That is
because I
common
save
for
it
me, too.
once and then I save it again just to make sure.
Just in case. Yeah.
Just in case.
Because you can always erase an old one later, right? Like you're like, I'll just keep a couple saves around.
My issue is with autosaves, is when games like Fallout 4, for instance, or Skyrim are like, oh yeah, every single autosave is gonna just continuously build.
Oh yeah,
You know,
just
I've
do
got 50 autosaves. It's like, I don't need 50 autosaves.
Yeah.
Do like maybe 3.
Yeah. The other thing that kind of annoys me too is when they do autosaves, but the autosave is like after you've made a critical decision instead of before you've made that decision.
Yeah.
Which does happen, because I would do a hard save usually before critical decisions in like an RPG. Not necessarily because I'm going to backtrack and not do it, but I might want to see what the other options are later. I did that, like Starfield is a good example of that, where there is a critical moment where you have to make a choice between going one place and another, and I wanted to see what actually happened in both of those scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a hard save before that, but if I just relied on the autosaves, I really wouldn't have had that option. They pretty much would have just saved. But in terms of just the difficulty level, I don't think it's a bad idea to have save points, checkpoints, Firelink shrines, whatever you want to use, but you gotta be aware of especially large chunk sections that are going to be difficult, that don't have any way of like saving progress. I've stepped away from games and come back to them later, but have almost written them off completely because of that reason. And I think it was only because I had I had a period of time away from it where my frustration waned, but my interest in the game stayed put, to where that ratio went back to a place where I could go back to it. Like, it's like I really liked it, and that's kind of like with the second chances that I'm doing now. That's a lot of them are that, where it's like my frustration with the game rose above my desire to play it, but now my frustrations wane, so now I can say, yeah, maybe I can try going back to them and feel better about it.
Revisit them now that I'm not angry.
Yeah, now that I'm not angry at the games. But a lot of them were not because of save points. It was because of other issues. How often should we be able to hit a checkpoint? Like,
whenever I need it. Because here's an example from Pacific
Fair.
Drive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because that one doesn't save while you're on missions.
Yeah.
When you're out and exploring. But they implemented something recently, which was, hey, sometimes people need to go do things IRL, stop playing. So they implemented a couple options for that, which is you can quit and save. You'll go back to the shop from the mission from where you are. It'll just be like, all right, I need to quit, I need to save, and you could either ditch all the items you've collected during that one or keep them, up to you, how challenging you want to make it.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you need to go, so it's like, all right, quit and save, and then when you load the game back in, you'll just be at Oppie's shop.
Sure. Yeah.
That way it's, all right, well, I made a bunch of progress on this mission, but I gotta go.
Yeah.
So either, and again, the choice to either be able to keep all the stuff you collected, or to just drop it and go but still save is nice, because then at least players who want that challenge can have the challenge, and players who are like, no, I gotta go do other things, I have a little bit to play, this is taking longer than expected, can still get their benefits from doing the things. So that quality.
Pacific Drive, actually, the way I had played it, because you didn't tell, I didn't know about those options that you told me about. That
one's brand new. But yeah.
And in the demo, I don't even know if it had those choices. But the fact of the matter was, when after I'd gone through those places and I got back to the shop after I died in the maelstrom, and nothing I had done saved, it was really at that point where I was like, I'm done now. I don't like this.
Yeah,
and it
with
was
those
frustration.
options,
oh yeah,
you probably would have been like, oh, this is fine. I have to repair my car, but
I have to repair my car, but at least I kept stuff from my journey, because that would be fine. I'd be fine with that. So I think that's going to have to end up being one of my second chances at some point when I'm not angry at it anymore.
It's going to be worth it.
It would be worth it. I have a few in the can right now that I'm trying to finish up, so which I'm having mixed success on, to be honest with you.
That's fine. Who
But cares? I would ask folks out there if there's a game that you found particularly frustrating for the lack of being able to save or keep your data, and what those would be. I don't think we even got into, and maybe we can talk about on another episode, the idea of like Iron Man modes or hardcore modes for the one save.
That's a topic for a different time.
That's a different discussion, because I almost like never play that way. Because I know it's going to frustrate the hell out of me.
Same.
Easily. But let us know in the comments down below.